I'm Dr. Mosaraf Ali. I'm a specialist in integrated healthcare, which means I combined all the ancient techniques with the modern medical systems. I specialized in acupuncture, Ayurveda, Unani, yoga, Marma massage, and so on. And I blend the two to make a system of healthcare which is safe, effective, and cost effective. Now, I've written 8 books. I'll be talking about one of my books, but before that I want to explain what my basic philosophy is. I took my basic philosophy from the principles of Hippocrates, the father of modern medicine. Now, amongst many things that he said, or you talk about the Hippocratic oath that doctors take after completion of their medical studies, the Hippocrates said the body has an innate self-healing property. It can heal itself. We know that. Fractures, cold coughs, common diarrhea, and bruises, burns, and all these, they heal themselves. So the body has got the knowledge, the technique, and the qualities of self-healing. So I took that concept, and he said to stimulate that innate healing power, you have to make sure that you eat well, you do some exercises, you have some massages. So he used to call it the regimen therapy. And then I took up from that and I made it into my lifestyle program. So my lifestyle program is used for every patient that comes in. If you're ill, there's something wrong with your innate healing power, that which makes you healthy. That's what keeps you healthy. So you have to build that up before you can apply different sort of treatments. Now, I use a particular type of diet, which is fairly standard, and then some yogic type of exercises, breathing and pranayama, and some physical exercises. Then I use massages, and here lies the secret. So there are so many different types of massages in the Orient. Now I combined a few of these techniques, amongst which comes Marma, a system of stimulation of the body through pressure on certain points, trigger points, and making the body more alert, more ready to heal itself. So that technique, then I used different types of oils and all that. So massage became an important part of my treatment. Then of course a system of meditation and some simple herbal remedies that I give. One is to alkalize the body, the other one is to get rid of all the inflammation in the body, and the others are useful in cleaning the gut. So this is the lifestyle program. To that, I add my techniques first. Before I use specialized treatments, for Ayurveda and this, that, you have to use the systems that have been brought to us for thousands of years. So I learned certain techniques and created some more and did and combine it with the therapy before using specialized medicine. And in most cases it worked. A lifestyle program and the various techniques of treatment, and bang on, the results came in. Not in one, but in thousands of cases. And that became the basic module of my treatment, the basic protocol for treatment. It didn't matter what kind of problems you had, so long as you had the lifestyle program and you had the techniques, different sort of techniques for backache, techniques for migraine, techniques for clearing the sinuses, techniques for getting rid of the throat pain, techniques of congestion in the lungs, techniques of problems in the intestines, and different sort of joints and injury. So all these techniques were very important. This is a very important add-on element. Now, one of the techniques that I'm going to talk to you about is based on my own discovery. Now, the brain, as you can see, is divided into cortex, which is the conscious brain, and below the cortex, whatever lies here, the brain stem and all this pituitary glands and all, so the cerebellum, they all come under autonomous brain, that which controls the body on its own, without command from the brain. Because if the brain was to control the hormones, it will go crazy. The brain is involved in logic, in thinking, in voluntary movements, in different forms of storage of memory. So the brain carries out, the conscious brain carries out higher functions of the body, the very finer function. But the daily systems of controlling blood pressure, breathing rate, body temperature, urine secretion, hormone regulation, and balance while you walk, and coordination of the body when you do different types of things, and everything you do. Even if you play music, there's different types of movements are done to play a certain note or a collection of notes. Then it requires finer coordination. You have to go, play like this, play like that, and to make it into a symphony. So therefore, everything we do, including writing and speaking, it has to be coordinated. So for that we have the cerebellum here, so which controls all that. So everything in the body is actually controlled by the brain. The conscious brain has its specific functions, and subconscious brain or the autonomous brain has its own function. So I studied this for 25 years. I discovered something very interesting. I had terrible fatigue when I landed in Bangkok once to see a patient. I arrived early in the morning and I was so tired I couldn't go to the hospital. So I requested the host to give me a few hours of rest. So he took me instead to a sort of a massage thing there, and there was this monk who did some very, very deep massage of the neck, and I instantly felt invigorated. I said, that's interesting. Then I went back to India and went to a traditional clinic, and I saw that the therapists were pouring warm water down the neck for everybody. Doesn't matter what disease they had. I said, again the neck. And then there was also another form of treatment where they put rollers on the bed, and people were held by their legs and they were rolled across. The neck and shoulder area was massaged like that for 15 minutes, 20 minutes. I said, why this neck? This is very interesting. So I went and opened my anatomy book, and you won't believe it. The page I opened said it all. It was on circulation of blood to the brain. So that's very interesting. I began to study, and I realized that in the body, there was only one pair of arteries located inside the neck, which is very well protected in a canal. This is a bony canal, and surrounded by sheets of connective tissue, and the artery goes like that. So I began to look at this pair of arteries. What does it do? And then I realized, that these arteries went inside the brain, to the base of the brain, and supplied blood to the autonomous brain. And I think the apple fell on my head, because this was the most amazing thing I discovered, that the conscious brain, which came in later in evolution, had its own blood supply through the carotid artery. which is here, in front of the neck. It's quite freestanding. And the subconscious brain, or the autonomous brain, got its blood supplied through this artery. So there was a clear-cut demarcation. It is very controversial, because science will never accept conscious and subconscious brain per se. But the fact is, then I started doing work on these neck arteries, trying to improve blood flow to the subconscious brain. And one by one, I saw people improving their condition. They had migraine headaches, it went. They had hormonal problems because of pituitary malfunction. You give more blood to the pituitary works better, the hormonal functions get better. You have dizziness and all sorts of imbalance and all that. You help the cerebellum, and immediately all these things get sorted out. You have buzzing in the ears, tinnitus, you get more blood into the brain and the tinnitus stops. You get blurred vision due to optic nerve blood circulation problem, and you give more blood, slowly the eyesight gets reinstated. So I began to treat all sorts of problems using just the lifestyle program and this technique. Now, of course, you cannot treat everything with the neck, but there are other techniques I have. No, you're not going to treat sciatica using the neck. So we had other techniques which I'll be talking to you in my YouTube channels, and I'll explain to you how I managed to simplify medicine, find out root causes of things. I'm not talking about all the latest developments of medicine and all that, which is very good. We're going to have robotics, we're going to have all sorts of things happening in medicine, all for the better. But I'm just talking about a few things, like the chronic ailments. Chronic ailments do not respond to normal medical treatments. We know that, we accept that. And yet we continue with the same prescriptions over and over again, hoping that one day it'll hit, but it doesn't. If you have chronic arthritis, you live with chronic arthritis. For these chronic problems, you need the innate healing power to participate. And through what? Simple things like diet, exercises, yoga, meditation, and some form of massages. You help the joints. So this became the pattern of healing. And based on all that, I wrote a book called The Neck Connection. It was a bestseller, and I'm glad to say it had a little bit of support and endorsements from people like Morgan Freeman or Sylvester Stallone or Samuel L. Jackson, Andrew Lloyd Webber, and so many other different people. They found this, the material in this book, I think, is quite fascinating. I spoke about the neck arteries and what it does to the whole body, how by invigorating the hard disk of the body, the computer in the body, through blood, through supply of oxygen, glucose and nutrients, you're able to invigorate the brain to function better. And once the brain functions better, all the other systems, they begin to function better as well. So this became the modality of treatment. I made it into a principal form of treatment for integrated healthcare. Okay, as I said before, there will be other diseases, chronic diseases, which need local treatment, more sort of, for example, as I go along in this YouTube channel, I'll talk about pain management, drug-free pain management. These are all based on my techniques. So we may end up talking about 100 different types of pain. Pain in the head, pain in the ear, pain in the tooth, pain in the abdomen, pain in the joints. So many different types of pains. We'll talk about pain management. And I'll also talk about the lifestyle thing. For over 26 years I have been working in spas, top spas. And I developed so many different skills, so many of my methods, from weight loss techniques to anti-aging techniques, I've been using in my spas. It was called the time reversal spas, and I used all these techniques. Not like I've had an idea and I just put it down. I went through the ranks. I went through all these systems. I used high altitude treatment in the Himalayas and mountains to stimulate the body's innate healing power. I use different sort of things, from fasting, from today intermittent fasting has become so popular, but one of my earlier specialization was in clinical fasting. Earlier on, this is in early 80s. So the best teachers and who taught me all this clinical fasting, how you do fasting within a hospital. So I think we have a story to tell. Give me some time, step by step, I'll be unfolding my whole world of medicine. I'm not going to keep any secrets. I'll try and release all the secrets one by one for you to use it. You don't become doctors because you still have to, but I'll give you the instructions to follow, because telemedicine is a new thing. But telemedicine in that uses all these traditional forms of medicine is non-existent, because the data wasn't preserved well. You can't use always artificial intelligence to analyze all these things. Fortunately, and I was lucky enough to do it, being one of the first in the world to have done this, I kept records of all these different forms of treatments and their value in clinical work. And we have enough data, and we will be able to combine all that to make it into, again, safe, efficacious and cost-effective healthcare system. Stay with me.